views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Let me be your lighthouse so I can show you the way. Let me be your shining light, I'll keep you from drifting away. I'm the one that makes you try when...
Hello, this is Patty Hunter of Patty's Page. Welcome to my show. Today on Skype I'm doing an interview with Luke McMaster, a wonderful Canadian singer, and he writes his own music and sings with very many people like in Motown. So we'll be with you in a second with Luke. Luke McMaster, how are you? Welcome to my show, Patty's Page.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hey, well, I have questions for you, my friend.
All right, well, fire away. I look forward to having a discussion about
You.
music and, and I guess me.
I like it when people talk about themselves. I'm always curious about them, you know. So where were you born and raised?
I was born in Winnipeg, Manitoba, right dead center in the middle of Canada, and was raised in Brandon, Manitoba.
Brandon, that's where my brother lives.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fantastic. And yeah, so small town of Brandon, and then when I was around 18, I ended up moving back to Winnipeg.
Right.
Where I got into a music college, and then from there, that's where my career really started to get a foothold. I started getting into different bands and working with different songwriters and producers.
So while you were growing up, where are you now? Are you back in Brandon or where? Toronto?
Yeah, I live outside of Toronto in Hamilton.
Oh yeah.
You're familiar?
Yeah, I am. I'm from Toronto.
Okay, yeah, so you know Hamilton well. I'm in my home recording studio right now.
Looks very nice.
And taking a little break from recording to chat with the great Patty Hunter.
Where? Where is she? Oh, she's there somewhere. Oh, thank you. The great Patty Hunter. That's how they'll remember me on my epitaph. Okay.
Hopefully no time soon.
Who mentored you?
That's a really good question because my family were very much not
Into music?
music oriented.
Yeah.
I have 3 brothers, 2 are doctors, one's in finance. My dad was a math and computer scientist at Brandon University. My mom was a nurse and an entrepreneur, and so there's just no real music. None of my friends were really into music other than listening to it. So I didn't have a mentor per se growing up, although I will say that my parents mentored me in business. And when they found out that I was going to become a musician full-time, I wouldn't just treat it like a hobby, that I would treat it like a career and have a business plan. So my mom and dad really mentored me from that aspect, but there was no one really to mentor me musically. I really had to create my own path until I went back to Winnipeg and I met a guy named Chris Gaffney. I think I was probably around 20 years old, and he was really well known in Winnipeg as a guy that discovered a really talented artist and developed a really talented artist named Chantal Kreviazuk, who went on to do some pretty big things.
I've heard of that name.
Yeah, she sings Leaving on a Jet Plane in the soundtrack for Armageddon.
Oh my goodness.
She's had a lot of really big hit songs and just super talented. And Chris was in bands his whole life. He was in a band called Orphan that had some pretty big hits in Canada. And all of a sudden, things really clicked with him. I started working with him, and for the first time in my life, there was someone that really resonated with me. What he had done, what he was doing, how to write songs, how to approach performing.
He taught you?
And so, yeah, that would have been one of my first mentors, for sure.
So, schools, which one did you go to? You said a music college or university?
Yeah, I went, my dad being a university professor in Brandon, I was automatically signed up for Brandon University, and the only thing I really felt like I might be the least bit good at was marketing. And I lasted for 2 weeks. I ended up dropping out after 2 weeks. I'm not proud to say that, but my head was not in it. And I just was like, I've heard about this contemporary music college in Winnipeg. I want to move there. It's just all I want to do. That's all I can think about. And they were really supportive. When they found out how serious I was, and I started sharing some of my music with them. I kind of kept it hidden for a long time. I really didn't make it public knowledge that I was writing all these songs and very surreptitiously teaching myself to play piano and guitar. And you could talk to so many of my friends to this day. They were just like, "What the?" Like, we had no idea what to do. How all of a sudden are you out there touring and doing all these records? And so
kept it a real good secret.
It was called Professional Musicians College. It no longer exists, but it was like a crash course, a 2-year crash course in music history and theory. And I was in the vocal program. That was my main thing. But I also, was learning, like I said, theory, music history, starting from,
many years ago,
to gospel, to jazz, to blues, and it was just this really amazing crash course for me. And I was shoulder to shoulder with some of the guys in like the guitar program and the keyboard program, and I would just hang out with them at lunch and just like, oh, how do you play that, diminished chord? And I was just like a sponge. And so by being at this music college, I ended up moving in with a guy that became the drummer in my band, and another guy that became a guitar player in my band. And it was this real hub where I went from 0 to 60. Like, I just went from really knowing not a lot about being in a band, other than, my own self-taught about guitar and stuff, to all of a sudden just living with these guys, breathing all this music every single day, and starting to play live really early on, which was really cool.
How old are you when you start to sing, to be more professional? Or?
Well, I started to sing when I was a little kid. I was always, the wacky kid in my family that was always singing.
You've got a good voice.
There we go. But I started to take some vocal lessons. I'd say I was probably, until I was around 14 or 15 years old. I took a couple of vocal lessons and met a great vocal teacher that was really helpful to me, and started to just learn the fundamentals of proper breathing and support, stuff that's really stayed with me to this day.
It's from the diaphragm. Oh my goodness, I remember that.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
I was going to say, are you also a songwriter? You do your own lyrics and stuff.
I'm a songwriter. Absolutely. I started, to backtrack a bit. I actually started writing, learning to sing and play piano, because before I even did any of that, I was already writing songs.
Oh.
I was already writing lyrics, and very quickly was like, who's going to sing this for me? I don't know anyone that is a singer. I don't know anyone that even plays an instrument in my small town of Brandon. And so I better learn myself in case no one else wants to.
I hear you.
So,
continue.
What's that?
Continue.
Oh yeah, so like I've written hundreds of songs. I've been signed to Universal Music Publishing and BMG, and like written music. I collaborated with all kinds of people. Rihanna, I've written songs for. I collaborated, well, obviously with Jim Brickman, where I think I met you after a Jim Brickman concert, and we co-wrote a song called "Good Morning Beautiful" that was a pretty big hit on U.S. radio.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, I've been really lucky actually that way. I've gotten to collaborate with some really amazing people, and probably more so than ever over the last couple of years with my project Icons of Soul, which has been very, very interesting.
So, how did you write your? You have CDs? Do you have vinyl as well as CDs or singles, EP?
Yeah, well, I started out with tapes, cassette tapes, if you remember those things.
I remember those.
And I never had vinyl. I was a little bit later than the vinyl period, although I want to release some vinyl because I love vinyl, and I want to release some of my records on vinyl. But yeah, lots of CDs. I've recorded
how many?
4 or 5 solo CDs now. And an album with McMaster and James, which was a band I was in that was signed to Sony Music back in 2000, and that was a gold record. And then before that, I had a cassette tape album that was with a band called Double Vision. That was one of my first ever bands.
How many bands have you been through?
1, 2, I'd say 4.
That's enough. Yeah. Over the years, how long have you been into singing with bands that you are talking about? 20 years, 10 years, 15?
Well, I'd say 25 years probably.
Cool, you must have started out as a little kid, eh?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I'm probably older than you might guess.
Oh, I'm not going to ask because it's,
Thank you.
I cannot know do that now. Genre of your music. What style is it then?
Well, my genre, my love has always been classic soul and Motown. And I've delved into some, other genres. I've collaborated with DJs that are more in EDM and stuff. And I was in, like I said, McMaster and James. Even though we were very soul influenced, our productions were a little more on the pop side of things. But over the last 6-7 years, I've really made a conscious decision to do exactly the type of music that was always true to me, and that is Motown and classic soul. And that's why I've been working on this project, Icons of Soul, where I've actually been writing and producing with some of the legends that were part of the Motown legacy.
Do tell.
Backtrack a little bit. I was getting ready to make an album, had all the funding in place about 3 years ago. And I was in Los Angeles doing some songwriting, and with my principal collaborator, his name's Aaron Chatterbeatty, we produce and write most of the songs that we do together. Right. And we were in LA together just doing some meetings and some writing sessions. And Aaron had the contact information for a guy named Leeds Levy, who is a really famous publisher. And he has been a publisher for decades and decades and has a very, very deep contact list. He knows everybody. He published Elton John. His father actually published the Beatles. He was the guy that brought I Want to Hold Your Hand to America. His father, Lou Levy. And he just knows so many different people. So Leeds agreed to have a meeting with us.
Yeah.
We took him for lunch, and I left him with one of my albums. I said, he's like, it'd be nice to meet you guys. I'll try and, see what I can do for you. And I said, well, here's one of my albums. When you get time, take a listen to it. I'd love to know what you think of it. So we left lunch that day in Thousand Oaks, California, went back to LA. Mm-hmm. He called the next day, and he said, you know what? I was driving home, I put your album in, I really loved it. I didn't realize you're so influenced by Motown and soul. And he's like, that's my favorite, that's where my heart is, and you're like this blue-eyed soul singer. And he's like, are you working on another album? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, you're influenced by it. Why don't we get you together? Instead of being influenced by it, let's get you to the source of that music. Right. He's like, I'm going to start making some phone calls if you want. Some of these guys are still kicking around.
Oh, good.
Some of the original Motown songwriters, and I was like, that sounds amazing. That makes so much sense. Yeah, if you could make that happen. So sure enough, he started making some calls, sending my music to some people, and he ended up getting through to a guy named Lamont Dozier, who co-wrote and produced the Supremes, the Four Tops.
Oh.
He wrote and produced How Sweet It Is for Marvin Gaye, Heat Wave, Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, like just, Reach Out, I'll Be There, just insane list of credits to his name. And he really liked what I was doing. He's like, you're really trying hard to do really authentic Motown, and I'll help. I'll get together with you. And I couldn't believe it.
Hang on.
So we Aaron and I made plans. A few months later, we came back to California, and we started writing music with him. And it was such an interesting and amazing experience that we decided, we should really capture this on video. We should see if we can get back together with him and bring a camera crew and create a bit of a documentary out of this, because this is just a fascinating experience. Not a lot of people know that much about Lamont Dozier. They know his music, but so many people don't know his name.
Would you interview him?
Pardon me?
Would he interview you, or you interview him in this documentary?
I ended up interviewing him. So we brought a camera crew and we interviewed Lamont. They watched us write a song with Lamont. We wrote a song about Lamont's life, growing up in Motown and working for Berry Gordy and alongside Smokey Robinson and Stevie Wonder. And we captured his story and wrote this song called My Life is a Song. And so that's now a documentary that is already airing on Xfinity On Demand in the States. And we're looking for a partner in Canada, but it's being very, very well received. And it's being played only in Northeast US, but there is talk of taking it national. And then we're already talking to other icons to hopefully do other albums and other episodes. And it's really become one of the main passions of my life, for sure.
I just want to know, for each of your CDs, do you have a theme throughout each song that makes the one CD a theme?
Is there a theme throughout each album, you mean?
I know you got the Christmas one.
Yep.
But
yeah. So what would be some of the themes that run through my albums? Is that your question?
Like a storytelling all the way through, different but the same kind of meaning, or?
I mean, Icons of Soul Volume 1, the album that I worked on with Lamont. We also worked on a couple songs with a guy named Felix Cavalieri, who was in the Rascals, and he wrote Groovin' and It's a Beautiful Morning and Good Lovin', some really big classic soul hit songs. And so the theme really is just honoring the legacy of soul and Motown. And there's no lyrically, I wouldn't say there's a
running theme. Yeah.
But it's all we were just trying to make a really authentic soul Motown album, working with these guys and also telling a bit of their stories.
I heard some of your songs on your website. What's your website?
Just my name, LukeMcMaster.com.
Good, because some of these DVDs that I've seen, on YouTube. Are you on YouTube as well, or?
Once again, I'd love people to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's just Luke McMaster. Easy to find.
You betcha.
Yeah. And same thing with my Facebook and social media channels. Very easy to find. The only one that's even the littlest bit tricky would be Luke McMaster Music, which is my Facebook. But everything else is just my name.
Groovy. So, what would you like to say to my audience? How to encourage them about succeeding in life or whatever they want to do?
I would say maybe create your own opportunities, especially in the entertainment industry. If you wait around to be discovered, I found it very, very next to impossible. But I did find when I didn't wait for that to happen, when I started just creating my own opportunities. Okay, well, I can't, I'm too young. No bars are going to hire me. Why don't I pick up the phone book and call some schools? Maybe schools will let me play there. Maybe I can introduce a bit of an educational component. Or, what I'm doing with Icons of Soul. Like, I just started doing it. I found some partners to do it with, and we financed it ourselves. And it is starting to create its own momentum. But that would be my biggest message. Have a plan and create your own opportunities.
Allow certain doors to close, and then when another door opens, go through that door. Just as long as you continue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And finally, what is your favorite CD?
Songs in the Key of Life.
Aha! So,
Stevie.
CD. Oh, yeah.
He's the man. Yeah.
How many songs are there on there? How many songs
are on Songs in the Key of Life? I don't remember.
You don't?
I don't remember.
Okay. It's all right. I don't remember what I do either. Oh, it's great to talk to another Canadian,
Yeah. Well, you too. And thanks for supporting and promoting music. It's important.
Well, do come back to Fort Wayne. That's where we'd like to see you.
I plan on it. We're really trying to build some tour dates this fall and really break through into more of the United States. So I look forward to making that happen. I think people will really, really enjoy the Icons of Soul concert that I have. I tell a lot of the stories about working with these Motown legends and play the music I wrote with them, play some of their classics, and it's just a really, really unique and fun experience. So we'll bring that to Fort Wayne as soon as we can.
Thank you, Luke, for being on my show.
All right, anytime.
Godspeed.
Godspeed. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that was a great half hour, wasn't it? Well, I hope you had a good time. I did. It's great to talk to Luke again, and I do believe that he'll be coming here soon to Fort Wayne, Indiana. I do hope. So we'll see you next week, and have a great week. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so
Oh, Jim and I would like to thank you guys for coming here today. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. It's nice to see you.
I hear the alarm go off at 6. Used to be, I'd wanna call in sick. I always dreaded this time of day, but not anymore, 'cause of you, smiling you, perfect you. Good morning, beautiful. I know it's gonna be a good morning, beautiful. When you're waking up with me, it's gonna be a good morning, beautiful. La 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 la, la 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 la. La 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 la, la 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 la. How it's gonna be. And as I'm going through my day, nothing could take this smile from my face. Whether sunshine or whether the rain, I can weather any weather with you, smiling you, perfect you. Good morning, beautiful. I know it's gonna be a good morning, beautiful. When you're waking up with me, it's gonna be a good morning, beautiful. This feeling like I'm dreaming, it's a dream come true when I wake up with you. La 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 la, la 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 la. La 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 la, la 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 la. Sometimes this world is such a crazy place, but all I need is just to see your face. Whether sunshine or whether the rain, I can weather any weather with you, smiling you, perfect you.
above. So until we meet again, Godspeed, my love. God is with us always, and for the rest of our lives.